This is Tomb of the Shadow King on normal. So we talk to this guy, and then we just, at this point, have to drop down. And this quest is a bunch of, every time we find one of these. So those are invisible stalkers. The reason they were visible to us is because we have true seeing. Alright, so every time we see one of these lit torches, then we want to put it out and move forward. Now, we're in sort of the start area here, and we're kind of moving towards the center. It'll become more visible once we circle around. We're kind of moving towards the main circular path, which I'll say here, which I don't know if it's exactly circular, but it's pretty much is. Feels circular. So basically, we just pick a direction and we just follow that path. And as we see those flames, we darken them. A lot of enemies, a lot of incorporeal enemies, a lot of respawns. I've seen you get different people that want, that kind of go slow, but when you run this in groups, you get people that will want to run it differently, in the same group. So, okay, so we put this out, and you'll get some people that they'll just run from here right to the next torch to put it out, and other people that want to kind of do this, where you're kind of fighting as you go. And a lot of it depends on what build they're playing and their play style. And so the key thing is, whatever you do together. If you join a group, whatever the leader says, do it. And if you're not comfortable with it, then just, maybe don't join group with that person again. That's pretty much the way to do it. But in this example here, we are going to take it more slow, simply because Reapers, when they do spawn, they can spawn in groups. So the less of a group that we gather up at a time, the fewer Reapers we'll get when we get to higher difficulties. And so I'm a big believer in, even though I don't always practice it, trying to run things the same way on all difficulties so that you don't develop bad habits. Because on normal you can get away with a lot more
the keepers of the light.
than you can here.
They keep the doom
Than you can on Reaper. Alright, and I'm just keeping an eye on my, let's see, what is this? Crush and Despair. I'm just keeping an eye on my
something about the walls.
Alright, so we veered off north and south. There's another path
exactly why.
Behind a door that we want to follow, and there's 3 torches north, 3 torches south. So you put it on, and you only see 1 torch. So each of these banners represents a hidden path. So like if I go here, I can't get through. But if I go through the one with the banner, it's like an invisible barrier. Or I should say a visible barrier you can actually just walk, non-barrier you can walk through. So walk through that barrier, and again, you follow it on the map. You can kind of see something's there, right? So, well, you can't, I guess. It looks like it's nothing. And then you just follow this, and you'll eventually get to another flame. Put it out. And then just... Alright, and then we have one more north. So we've extinguished 2 of the flames. And now again, we kind of follow the barrier, and remember, it's the opposite when you come through, so you want to go out the same way you came in. And watch for traps. There's a few traps in here on these. Alright, I'm going to get rid of that strength damage fast. Alright, I don't know if it's here, but one of these paths has a trap, and just kind of watch your spot. So again, it's normal difficulty, so it's great to learn some of these things when you're fighting the enemies is not hard. Alright, so now we've taken care, if we look on our map, we've taken care of the south. I said north, I meant south. So here's the way we came in. And so now that south door is done. I guess it's more of a square than a circle, but now we want to continue. Once we get to the main path, we want to continue in our, I guess we're going counterclockwise path. It doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise, but you just keep going until you get back to where you started. And then at that point, you need to find a way. There's basically 2 more levels you need to get to, and you just keep going kind of closer to the center once you... Here's a trap. And just because there's a trap doesn't mean that it can be disabled. Let's see. I don't see any boxes, so let me put my hireling on stand his ground and check the side. It's not a tremendous amount of damage, so I'm not going to sweat it if we can't. Yep, right in the middle of all the traps. At the time this came out, I think it was intended to be, like a high difficulty quest, and it still is considered that. All the other than the first Necropolis chain, all the Necropolis chains are considered to be a little more on the difficult side. Let's see. Hopefully we didn't miss. Let me just make sure I didn't miss unlighting that by getting distracted by the traps. Yep, got it. Okay, good. It's no big deal. If we miss one, we just have to backtrack. And but since there's respawns, not as many as we have now, but we'll have a decent number of respawns. Better to not backtrack. So when we get to the north, we have the same thing. We have rather than there being one here, we have the same deal where we have 3 here that we have to get, just like we did on the south side. Another invisible stalker, but visible to us because we have true seeing.
Lights are slain. Now, darken. Something about the walls behind the banners here catches your eye.
And the same deal. You want to go to the side with the banner, and you want to make a mental note of which side that was on. So when we leave, we want to exit the right. And then here's this one. And again, we exit the right. Yeah, normally there's at least one trap in this hallway, one of these hallways, but I guess, I guess it's pretty random, so we wanted to go to the right. And then since we went counterclockwise, we just continue along our counterclockwise path until we get back to the beginning. Named Space Spider. Alright, so we've now gone full circle. And we're just going to go down to here. We just have to see if we can, yep. We just have to find a path we can get to. Some of them are gated. But this is good. And likewise, we went counterclockwise, so we'll just continue with the trap. We'll continue to go counterclockwise. These are far from the that was far from the most dangerous trap, but might as well get it. Get some experience from it, which we actually don't need. And then, but just make sure the hireling and ourselves are not taking damage. Well, my sword is stuck again. This happens to me sometimes. There we go. Jumping seems to fix it. Alright, 2 more. There should be 1 more here, and then 1 down below, I believe, is the pattern. So now we just need to find a way down. So look, but I think one of these doors is gated, so this is not. This is good. So they're all, yeah, 2 of them are gated. So now we just do this,
The darkness has awoken in Sue.
and so
The
and
east wing
Sue
will now
is.
open when you lure him there. Remember, only an intense burst of light will render him defenseless.
So I think that text is old. We don't have to actually lure him to the east side. We can just go back and let's get this. We just have to go back and fight him where the starting spot was, and then run over to the other side and get our treasure. I think it might have been you used to have to lure him there to get your treasure, and like many things in the game, they've changed it.
Continue to impress. I believe Nereza has misjudged you.
So we're west, and then north and south were passages where we unlit the unlit those the flames. And so now we're gonna go Taint of Shadow. Now we're gonna go east. But you can see how much stuff respawns here and why you don't want to like have to. So some people, if they don't really care about this item, will just skip all this and move forward. But we want to make our items, so we are going to head all the way over to the east side and get our treasure. And this used to be quite different, the way this part worked here. Let's see, we'll fight anything that's coming in following us, and I don't think things spawn in here, so once we're done fighting these things, we should be good. Alright, so 2 chests on normal. And there's our Shadow King Scarab. That's for upgrading our necklace. And then here's our next one. So that's it. So that is Tomb of the Shadow King on normal.